I don't record this video soon, I'm going to run out of daylight and then I'll have to make it inside, and then it sort of eliminates the whole recording outside sort of perk, I guess. So recently on Facebook, I've been getting recommended a lot of plant-based and vegan recipes, some vegetarian, but mostly plant-based and vegan for obvious reasons. And what I've noticed when I click on these recipes and I go into the comment sections, and it is dozens upon dozens upon dozens of omnivores or meat eaters just being basically abusive, like abusive to these people that are coming up with these recipes. So there's one recently that I saw, which was for carrot bacon. And I know that probably sounds ridiculous to the majority of you, but I'm just sharing some thoughts here. It was a recipe for carrot bacon, and the abuse in the comment section was on a level just you can't even comprehend. It's just like an innocent recipe for veggie bacon, for carrot bacon. And the comments that I saw there just really reinforced my whole thinking as to why people should probably delete their social media. It is a conglomeration of the most hateful, negative aspects of humanity. Like Facebook in particular, Twitter as well, they're just cesspits of hatred and negativity. And even that even extends to other social media like Instagram, for instance. I see on pretty much the majority of vegan or plant-based recipes that I look at, the comment section is, I would say, 10% positive, 10% positive, people being like thankful, oh, thanks for posting this, I'm going to try this at home, my husband's going to love it, my girlfriend's going to love it, whatever. And then 90%, it's just omnivores or meat eaters, carnists, as some of you may know them as, just spewing hatred. It's literally, it amounts to hatred. And I've noticed that I get recommended a lot of Google Foods videos, like you might have seen his like dry aged steak videos. I click them to read the comment sections, and they are nothing but positive. I've never, not in my experience once, seen a vegan go into that sort of content and post hatred or bile in the comments below. I've never seen them go, oh wow, that's a piece of meat, that comes from a cow. That cow was slaughtered so you could make this video. I've never seen a vegan do that. But I've seen hundreds, thousands of comments on recipes that are for vegans, plant-based people. And they're not even like necessarily catering them to vegan people or to plant-based people. They're just posting little recipes out there. And you will see, again, some of the most vile comments you'll ever see. And it's simply because someone has labeled a vegetable product after a meat. Like there's this channel that I watch on, occasionally I'll watch him on Facebook, but I always watch his YouTube videos. It's Sauce Stash. And he does these mock meat recipes, and the comments are almost exclusively like, oh, that's not meat. You can't call it meat. You can't call it steak. That's made with poison. That's made with chemicals. That's made with plants. You can't call it steak. It blows my mind. Like, it honestly blows my mind that so many people take the time out of their day to be negative in what would otherwise be a perfectly positive space. And even on places like Reddit, you can go into the vegan boards, and the amount of negativity, the amount of omnivores, carnivores, carnists, whatever you want to use, whatever terminology you want to use, the amount of times you will go into those videos and you'll see a similar sort of negativity in like a predominantly vegan space. I just don't understand it. And I believe it comes from a lack of empathy. Truly, it's a lack of empathy. Like, I'm somebody that was naturally not born with a lot of empathy, especially towards people. I've always had this profound empathy towards animals in the animal kingdom. But if I've had to sort of build a top of my foundation emotionally to like build that empathy, and a lot of that empathy that I have towards people nowadays, it originated with me having empathy towards animals in the animal kingdom. Like, I was vegetarian all throughout high school and most of my childhood. I very, very, very rarely ate anything that wasn't vegetarian. I love my dad, like he's one of my best mates, but he used to chastise me when I would not eat the steak that was on my plate. I'd just eat the chips and the veggies or the chips and the salad. And any of my family will confirm that to you. I've always been a bit of a salad boy. And that's because I've had this, I don't know, I've never really saw animals as being different from people in that regard. Like, we're supposed to be respectful towards people, and we're supposed to be respectful towards the animals and the other beings that we share this planet with. It's not our planet, it's a planet that we share with the animal kingdom. And a lot of us fail to take that into account, like when we're going through our day-to-day life. You know, this isn't our world, it's our world. It's broader than that. It's broader than humanity and human beings. And it just makes me wonder why these people have such a lack of empathy simply towards people that they may view as, I know it's like there's this whole anti-woke thing going on at the moment. You know, you've got to de-woke. If you know, Marvel's failing, Disney, Marvel movies are failing because they've gone woke. And obviously, I'm not going to go into that. That's another topic for another day. And I think largely, I think a lot of these omnivores and these other people have lumped veganism in with that woke category. And I'm sure there are a lot of woke people that are also vegan. But I mean, I don't consider myself woke, even though I used to have like the little intros at the start of the videos, which I would be honest, I have been painstakingly removing from my videos simply because I saw it as, if it's going to be exclusively something that's not about veganism or anything, you don't need that little intro at the start of the video, that you don't need that little caveat at the start of the video. And that's mostly in like videos from over a year ago as well. Well over a year ago, I would say. So I've been like trimming them out of the video simply because sometimes people will see that and react negatively towards it, but that's neither here nor there. But I think a lot of this anti-vegan sentiment stems from a lack of empathy and misunderstanding veganism and or lumping it into that woke category. I think the two, you know, they don't have to be concurrent with one another, you know. They can exist together, but they can also exist separately from that. And obviously there will probably be a negative comment or two under this video because of the whole vegan thing. And I don't go out of my way to censor these comments or delete them because I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in everyone's right to speak freely and to think freely. And if you're somebody that eats meat, I'm not judging you for that. I mean, like, most people that know me in real life, outside of YouTube, outside of this space, will tell you that I'm not somebody that goes up to people and goes, "Oh, hi, you know, nice to meet you, I'm a vegan." I don't do that. I've never done that. People are actually surprised to find out when they find out I'm vegan, because they're like, "Wait, you're vegan? But you haven't, you know, rubbed it in my face." I don't think many people actually do that. People have this mental impression that vegans, we go around just being obnoxious about it. And, you know, I'm from I'm technically from a country town, you know, from rural Australia, but I'm also spent a lot of time growing up, you know, city adjacent. So I've had the good blend. I've had that, you know, that simple country life, but I've also had that more suburban and urban life as well. But I still don't think I don't think most vegans like will rub that in your face. And that's more like an expectation people have, especially down here in the country. Like, if I was to go around just proclaiming to everyone, like, "Oh, I'm vegan, you know, nice to meet you, how's it going, you cunt?" People would very quickly sour to you. And I understand that part of it, but it's just this negative first impression, this negative impression that people have of vegans and veganism. And it's about, how do we tackle that going forwards? Obviously, if you get all of your news from social media, if you get all of your impressions of people and different lifestyles, you're naturally going to have, you know, negative feelings towards vegans because you've probably seen some horror stories online. But I just think it all comes down to being a little more empathetic about other people and an adult's decisions and their right to choose to live a life where they don't have to be, you know, they don't have to eat meat, they don't have to do this. And you may go, well, why label it? Well, I look at it as a way of, that vegan label is a way of finding your own identity. It's a way of holding yourself accountable to your own decisions. I used to think I used to think being a vegetarian was enough, and I made excuses to myself. And I think a lot of vegans have that anti-vegetarian thing about them, where when in reality it should be a union between the two. We should find unity and common ground with one another. But there's a lot of anti-vegetarian sentiment in the vegan community, because the argument is they know enough to like cut out meat from their diet, but they don't want to face the reality of going that next level further. Again, that's probably another issue for another video that we may or may not make. But yeah, I've always seen veganism as this lifestyle where you minimize your harm to the best of your ability, to however's realistically possible for you to achieve yourself. Which is why, like, I loved making that video where I spoke about, should vegans get rid of their, you know, should poorer vegans, should vegans that live lower on that socioeconomic, you know, platform, should they get rid of their secondhand leather if they can't replace it? Obviously they shouldn't. That's an obvious one to me. Again, it just stems from a lack of empathy, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below if you've had any like sort of negative sort of actions or interactions with any vegans in your area. Let us know in the comments below, and let me know some positive stories. Tell me something positive. I'm also wanting to hear something beautiful and positive, some you know, something positive that you may have involved with the vegan community or something. I'd love to hear that. And until the next video, my name is Aussie Marcel, and I'll catch you guys around.